Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Moving and Grooving with Nikki. Welcome back for episode 2. You know what I'm saying? I got my girl Deshunna here. She want to share some of these experiences. You know what we talked about last time, but she has also made a transition here to Arizona and she want to do her testimony, but scratch all that. We want to just jump right into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode with Moving and Grooving with Nikki. I am your host. Nicosia, aka Moving and Grooving with Nikki. And welcome back to episode 2, you guys. Last episode, I opened up about starting a new podcast with a new name, transitioning from GP After Dark. I also, guys, shared a whole lot of information. I shared a lot of tea, some crazy tea, a lot of about my journey, a testimony. So I hope that resonated with a lot of individuals. But at the end of the day, we back for our second episode, and I have a guest, you guys. So I'm gonna introduce today's guest. You guys, give it up for Deshunna Franklin. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me give you a little bit of history about Deshunna. She is a wife, she is a mother, she is an entrepreneur as well, and a whole lot of more journeys come around. But I actually know Deshunna from back in the days from high school when we were both living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She also transitioned to Arizona and now she works with me as my executive assistant. She also has her own business, which is direct sales, like in a retail industry, by the name of Pharmacy. I'm saying that right? All righty. Yes, yes, yes. So we kind of reconnected a little wild, a little crazy, but a lot of good. We reconnected. I want to say, what was it, like over a year? Over a year ago. Yeah, over a year ago. And we share a lot of similar testimony, a lot of stories. And also the main thing that we share is that we relocated to Arizona. So let me turn the mic over to Deshunna and let tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so again, like she said, my name is Deshona, and most people call me Dee Dee, so I'm gonna say AKA
Yeah.
Dee Dee. I am a wife and mom. Like I said, I am a wife and a mom of 5 children. I have three biological and two bonus children. I am Nicosia's executive assistant. And like she said, I also just recently um, ventured out with a new business. I am doing direct sales in the field of health, wellness, nutrition, skincare, and everything beauty products. So um, that's pretty much
Awesome.
that's pretty much
Awesome.
sums it up.
Okay. All righty. Well, what has your journey looked like over the last few years of being in Arizona? Like,
Whew, you're getting into it real early, huh? Okay, so let's see. These last few years, let me tell you. It's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey. But it's been a good journey. A lot of growth, a lot of pain, a lot of new beginnings, new starts. The last few years has really just been about me rebuilding. That's pretty much what it's been about is rebuilding, relearning myself, and just finding out what it is that I wanna do, like anything extra, which is why I started out with the business. I started out with the business. So
did you ever think that we would reconnect after high school?
um not necessarily reconnect on this level. You know what I mean? I didn't really think so just because we hadn't saw each other in so long. So I actually didn't, but I'm glad we did.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Easily from being on social media, we see each other, we tap in, we can make comments and posts. So it's like you kind of still in existing with people, but at the end of the day, just like thinking like, dang. And of course, I didn't even know you were residing in Arizona, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
that was such a coincidence, but it also was a treat. But what made you decide to move to Arizona?
Well, honestly, it was already something that we had actually been thinking about doing, not necessarily moving to Arizona, but we had already been thinking about, getting out of Wisconsin. Um, but then there was a major change in my life that kind of like pushed it, sped it up. But it was always a thought to leave out of Wisconsin. It was just the time.
Did you face like any like fears or challenges?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely
when making
faced
that move?
absolutely. I'm like a creature of habit. So change for me already was like a shock to my system. So I definitely had a whole lot of fears. And then being an overthinker, you're kind of like, how my kids gonna adjust? Am I gonna find a job? Are you gonna have any friends? Things like that. So yeah, there was definitely fears. Excitement as well, but definitely fears.
Right. I think for
Definitely.
me, I didn't have no fear. I was so ready to go. It's like Milwaukee kicked me out. They was like, it wore me out. It kicked me out like, okay, overgrown to the, overgrown here. It's time for you to make moves. And it was just, I love my hometown. I love Milwaukee, at the end of the day, but a lot of, individual, it drained me. So it was like, I'm so ready
Mm-hmm.
to be a little bit distance, but at the end of the day, I'm like, Arizona wasn't on my bucket list
Mm-hmm.
at all. It was something totally different. So this was one of those. We rolled the dice and just came. We were definitely looking towards like Texas, North Carolina, and it just happened here, the desert.
Well, for me, with my husband, his family had moved here. They had already been here like 6 or 7 years. So it was just kind of like, oh, if we move and we're going to Arizona because we know people. So that's kind of how we chose Arizona.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. What has Arizona taught you about yourself?
Arizona has taught me that it's not on me, it's in me. And I say that because whenever you move somewhere and start over, it's like you learn everything is like the business, the way they conduct business here is different.
Totally.
Just the type of people, the environment and things are different. The schools, are different. But what it taught me is that those same values that I had were so grounded that I know that I can make it anywhere.
Right.
So that's what it taught me.
Yeah,
That I can
it,
make
it
it
was
anywhere.
different. And I think through the years too, it changed because back in the days, you're like, okay, the rent is a little lower. This is happening. I think
Yeah,
with COVID and everything, it kind of flipped a lot.
absolutely.
Yeah. And I think the energy here is different. From us
Mhm.
being from the Midwest, our mentality, our energy is a little bit fast, quick, excitement. We like, hey, everybody.
Yeah,
And then them is
I agree.
more calm, dry. I think they hot. But
They
you
hot.
could, people is just like hot, so it kind of scared me in the beginning. I don't know if you had that same reaction where I just was like that. I don't feel wanted at first, because of individuals I met. How has moving changed your perspective?
Arizona itself, I'm
Life.
gonna say, I feel like, listen, I never realized how much I enjoy being outside. Maybe it was because of the city that we came from. I wasn't really, interested in being outside. But it's like the sun here, it's like it kind of like ignites something in you and it just make you want to be out. And it's so much stuff to look at. It's so much to do. It's like the possibilities. Um, it's just many more possibilities. So it kind of just make me feel like, I believe I can fly.
The sun does shine like all the way to 8 p.m. So it do feel like you in a resort every single day.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that's what kind of bring a lot of individuals down in our hometown because it's gloomy. It's just
Absolutely.
always gloomy. Now it's just a little different. But the sun, I think individuals do need some suns, that good vitamin D inside their lives to kind of feel good and waking up. And you just like, you definitely gotta have on some shades, boy.
You definitely do. Or you're gonna need some curtains or blinds because Arizona sun is popping up 6 o'clock in the morning, whether you're ready to get up or not. So
Wow. Yes. Can you share a little bit about like your personal testimony and your journey? Oof.
I need some wine. Oh,
Let me give you a little toast of that one. I'm like, we could cheers on that one, but I know I kind of went in a little deep right there real quick, but my last episode I shared, something that was very sensitive, very embarrassing, to myself. Of course, you don't have to kind of display on a whole nother level, but just whatever a good personal testimony to yourself. But I just felt like sharing my testimony was not about me. I think it was about others because it was something to help the next individual because of my testimony, and other people may be going through or experience or have the same circumstances, and may think that sometimes whatever people go through, they think life is over, it's at a dead end. And I used to never have that courage to share certain things about my life, my business, the history. But that history built who I am today. And at the end of the day, of course, do I regret, some of the choices and the decisions? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you learn from it, you move forward, and you grow in life. And now I can share that to let other people know that, hey, this may happen in my past. It didn't hinder my future. And this is the journey I had to walk on, unfortunately. So there's light at the end of the tunnel for each and every individual that may experience that same dim light. My story, the worst story, everybody have a testimony. It may be similar. They may went through it differently, but how are you overcoming and how getting through it day by day and not allowing it to just keep you there and rip you down. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes. So let me tell you, how I mentioned that there was something that I went through in my life that kind of pushed us towards Arizona. And I'm just going to share this. I'm just be real transparent with you guys. I caught a case. Yeah, I caught a case. Good old goody two shoe Deshunna caught a case at 40. Um, got wrapped up with somebody that was supposed to be helping me correct my credit.
wow.
Um, I didn't find out until there was a warrant for my arrest that he had a whole ring going on, um, using the act of preparing credit to make profiles um, to acquire merchandise, cars, and all different type of things. And he was kind of doing this unbeknownst to me. And I honestly didn't find out about it until I got a inbox from somebody on Facebook that my name was in the paper. Whew. So yeah, it got real bad. And if I could be honest, at the time when that happened, me and my husband were separated. And so I had to kind of go through all of that alone. So that was scary. There was embarrassment because, oh, I didn't mention this. I was arrested at work at a job that I had been at over 13 years. So that was hard. It was really, really hard. It was embarrassing. And it was tough because I realized then that people will actually judge you because of what they read,
Absolutely.
on a piece of paper. So that was real tough for me. And especially because I really absolutely had no idea as to what was going on. I didn't profit from it. I didn't gain from it. I didn't get anything from it. Nothing but a rap sheet.
Nothing but a rap sheet. And that you had to carry.
I had to carry it, and it was heavy.
Right.
It was very heavy.
And I spoke on last episode the embarrassment, like how does that, if you can define your embarrassment or just define how your character, your reputation made you feel, like how did you carry that embarrassment?
I ducked out for a moment. I tucked my tail for a moment. Like it really took the breath out of me. Honestly, if I can explain it, it's like a couple of years out of my life. I'm gonna say the first 2 years, really. It's like I was like a shell. I was literally like a shell. Um, I mean, down to the point where I wasn't like doing my hair. I wasn't getting dressed. That's when I really realized like this thing really has been bothering me because along with that comes a lot of rejection.
Right.
A lot of judgment.
Right.
And I think that was it because I had been in a field for over 20 years and I didn't realize that that had become my identity. So not being able to do that, being shut out of that already made me, okay, now who am I? Now I got to sit and figure out who is Deshunna.
Oh,
So then dealing with that, and then going to apply for jobs. Now I'm going to apply for jobs.
and having to put something on the application that was totally different from 20, 30 years ago.
Exactly.
Like,
So
wow.
that right there, that was real heavy. That was a heavy load. And in between that, I had been traveling back and forth from Arizona to Wisconsin because I was on probation. My children didn't even know I was on probation. They had no idea.
So you had to go back, Ashley, because you had to meet with like your parole officer?
Absolutely.
Wow.
And
And how often you had to do that?
every 45 days.
Wow.
Every 45 days.
How long was you on probation?
2 years.
2 years. Okay. No early release?
2 years. 2 years. It was the and that right there carried a whole nother
Going into that building?
Going into the building,
How did
pen in a cup,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
having this person sit across me from the desk talking to me like I'm a criminal. Yeah. I'm not a criminal, sir. Do you want to see my credentials? That's what I wanted to tell him, you know.
But you're gonna get judged by what's on paper, you know, and these individuals don't know you personally, don't, haven't been to school with you, been to work with you, but at the end of the day, what it say on paper is how I'm gonna treat you today. So, ma'am, yes, go pee in this cup.
This cup.
And bring it back. And I'll see you in 45 days.
Yes.
Yeah, that was one of the hardest, I think, chip off my shoulders. I had to have a probation officer as well too, and I actually had 5 year probation, but I only did 2.5. And I probably seen them every 30 days for about 6 months. Then it went to like every quarter, then twice a year. It kind of was just like, but I went in there. I had a suit on because I'm sitting down looking like I'm the probationary officer too. I was so damn embarrassed. I'm like, damn, I was like, oh my God, is somebody gonna see me here? That was the worst. Oh my gosh. To be like, I can't believe this.
I can't believe it.
Like this, that's the life. Like for that moment. And I was just so grateful when that was over. Like, can you just come see me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't go in this building. And I'm like, I'm about to do it. Somebody come in, I'm gonna check me. Who you here for? So they don't know I'm here. I'm here with the money. They're like, oh. Yeah.
Right. And then for me, see, it was happening at the time when we were like kind of like making the move and everything. So, and I thought it was going to be so easy for me to just, I'm going to just transfer my stuff. It didn't go like that.
Oh, wow.
It didn't go like that.
And that's kind of weird.
It did not go like
Especially for new beginners, you with family, you married. Did you think that, okay, since I'm leaving, this feel like I'm running, I can get away from all of this and it will probably be a little bit softer on you in a new state? Did you think that?
That's exactly what I thought. But when I got here, it got real.
It got real.
Because it wasn't the case. I got to the point where I wouldn't even tell my husband, my kids, I wouldn't tell nobody when I applied for a job. I didn't want to tell them because, they're going to be like, oh, what happened with the job? Oh, what happened?
And you don't want to have to explain the letdown.
And
like
that's exactly
each time in the beginning, it was like, hey, I went here, I went there. But after so long, you like.
And it just wore me down and it wore me down. It wore me down because I was getting the jobs. When I say I was getting the jobs, I was getting the jobs. I mean, all the way up until the point of doing paperwork and things. And then the background check came back. The background check came back. It got so hard. They wouldn't even let me do DoorDash. And I had a misdemeanor. I couldn't do DoorDash. I couldn't do any other type of driving jobs. When I say nothing, I was cut off. So when I tell you that the respect that I have for you, that's real.
What helped you keep going? What helped you keep going during the hard seasons?
My kids. Not going to let them down.
Yeah.
My faith.
That's deep right there.
My faith. Definitely. If I did not have my faith, I probably would have lost it. Like I really would have lost it because when you can't provide financially you know, that's a whole nother level.
A different.
Because Arizona will humble you. You know, Arizona will humble you, especially an Arizona summer. An electric bill will humble you. There is no assistance. There's none of those type of things here.
Yeah, them perks that you can get in the Midwest.
So yeah, I had to get it together though. I had to get it
Real
together.
quick.
I had to get it together real fast.
And so faith been your journey. And
Absolutely.
how important was faith?
It was number one.
Number one.
It was number one. Sometimes I couldn't even get up and like think straight if I didn't have my faith.
Right.
So that was very important.
So when I shared my story with Lady Lagana, and she asked me to be a guest speaker to speak at the women's conference and give my testimony. And at the end of the day, like I said in my last episode, I gave it before. It wasn't raw. It was still too heavy on me. And maybe because back then I was still edgy, I wasn't ready. And I think God allowed let you know when you're ready to speak. I don't like being forceful with anything. Yeah. I like when God tell me, okay, go do it, and let Him lead me there. And I'm like, God, you just threw me out there. Just don't tell me to go, you know. But I swear I was nervous. And I did another conference. I didn't go that deep. I cut it off. I didn't get to that point. And people, you know, they knew my story. Yeah. They wanted to hear it. I'm like, just buy the book. Right. You can get the juice from there. I wasn't ready. My body didn't tell me to release, you know. So when I knew I had to go there, when I walked on that stage, it felt so different. I'm telling you, it felt like God carried me on that stage and helped me through it. And I was like, and she, you know, how she made intro songs for everybody. And she selected the songs for everybody in the song. And I was just up there and I just felt it. And I'm just like, oh my God, I almost probably had the Holy Ghost up there before I got to talking. But it was just the courage to be like, people looking at me, I'm looking at them. I'm real goofy, so I don't care what moment I'm in. I'll start laughing. And at first, just started laughing. Like, what am I laughing at? Because people looking and I'm looking. But when I spoke at the women's conference, you know, went to the women's conference, it was a coincidence that you was there. So that's where I bump into you from all these years. Yes. All these years. And I speak at a conference. I get up there, tell all but their business, put it out there, you know, go back to the table, and I go, and, you know, of course, you looking around the room at a lot of, you know, inspired individuals, and you over there bawling. So what was going through your mind when we reconnected at the women's conference after I did my testimony?
Well, first of all, I was so happy to see you. But honestly, and this might sound crazy, but I was happy to hear it. Not happy that you had to go through that.
But it was a release.
It was a release. Like, oh my God, I'm not the only person. Yeah. Because like you said, there was for so long, like how I just talked about it, for so long I couldn't talk about it without crying. Right. Like, it's like I felt everything all over again whenever I had to discuss it. So kind of hearing you talk about it, definitely gave me like a connection or whatever with you. But if I could say it made me feel normal. You know what I mean? Like, okay, it ain't just you, Deshunna.
Exactly. You do feel like I'm the only person in the world going through this, and you're not. But just to have a familiar face, that's one thing. Because you can look at somebody on TV and be like, "This still ain't doing me no good." But just to be like, "Whoa," you know. And I think I also discussed where it'd be like, people like, "I know you. You don't look like you got that." I'm like, "How do it supposed to look?" You know, how do a person supposed to look?
Just,
you know,
well, me knowing you from high school, that was very surprising to me. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Because I would have never, you know, thought that. But like you said, how are you supposed to look? Because do I look like it? Right. Is there a look? I don't know. We really don't know who we shaking hands with. We don't know what.
At the end of the day, so wow. How what stood out to you more when you heard my testimony?
I think what stood out to me most was, I would say the fear of speaking about it, because I know you've talked about that, like not being able to even speak about it, and just the embarrassment and the shame, the embarrassment and shame That right there.
Yep. Because I just like you mentioned to piggyback on that, talking about it, I don't, it just gets you weak. I couldn't have a conversation without crying through the whole thing. You like, what did she say? So I'm like, I don't want to have, of course, it's still sensitive. It's still in me. I don't want to have a breakdown moment every time I talk about it because I want to get through it. It's in it, it's there, but I want to be able to get through it so people can hear me, hear me and understand me at the end of the day. I understand what's going on and what's being said. And like hoping I knew what my job was, my assignment was at that conference. And I knew there was other women there. I don't know, what circumstances they went through or going through, but it did touch, individuals for them to have hope for tomorrow to be like, I'm sitting here thinking I can't do nothing with my life, and this person done opened up over 20 EINs and did what they had to do because, of course, I didn't fear to go forward. I didn't allow it to just stop. I didn't stop. I didn't pause. I just was like, only God can let me know if this is right for me or not. And if I got curved on something, I'm like, God said it wasn't for me. Mm. So my main goal, when I did get approved, when I did get that first business, the second business, third business, whatever, anything, it was like I wasn't thinking about people, judgment, embarrassment. I was thinking about God. Like I ain't letting my God down. You know what I'm saying? I mean down. I ain't letting my God down for nothing in the world. And then I'm not gonna let myself down or my family down because of a mistake that was made, because we make mistakes. We made bad decisions that we got to live with for the rest of our lives. But I learned to say that wasn't me. That was something just on paper. Yeah. That's not defining me. I'm not claiming that. Yeah. That's a that. You don't claim it on you. So when I went through that pardon, that was different. You probably think like, did she care? Was she happy when she got the first business? Was she happy with her kids or her marriage or anything? Because that was like the best thing that happened in my life. And that was because
it's like a new beginning.
Because of how you feel so broken. Like that's a part of you that's unhealed. That's a part of you in your system that's so unhealed that it was like you was constipated for so long that nigga had to take a detox and just let it out. So when that came and it was like, oh wow, this is real. Okay, what's next? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it took 20 years, it took 20. It didn't take me 20 years to apply because I applied. I don't know if you ever apply. I applied as soon as I got it. Year after year after year. Like, I can't have this on me. I can't live like this. To be turned down and say, back in the days that when you were applying for pardons, they was like, your pardon is not strong enough. Your record is not strong enough for a pardon. We are trying to pardon individuals with a criminal rap sheet that was worse. And it's like, well, why did I get this on me, dear? Why did you give me the F for? You know what I'm saying? If it was not that, so why are you putting us in categories? So let me give it up to Governor Evers in Milwaukee, because when he came through to be like, hey, he giving out pardons and that's what he's doing for individuals, no matter how small or big the record is, he has opened the doors for our culture, and open the doors for people with to have second chances. And that was another nervous thing. So I can't wait to, kind of bridge off and talk about that pardon situation and talk about to help people understand how to apply for pardons and write it, get through it. I didn't have no help. I didn't have no professional help or anything. I had God, pen and paper, my story, my history, and couple references. That's so important, just to have people to write, letters of recommendations for you and references to help you get through that. But what's really, really the number one thing for the pardon that's important is telling the truth. Because sometimes when you tell your stories, you still you got to admit, I knew what I was doing was wrong at the end of the day. You can't say, we have to admit to what we did. Then you want to talk about, You'd be like, what have you done in the past? What have you done good through this time? So individuals that's going through it, make sure you have been handling your business, not getting in trouble. Um, don't giving doing good for doing good deeds for the community, for others, um, maintaining jobs, and they want to know like what's like what supersedes your the expectations of things you have done. And of course, I'm like, I don't get open up businesses, did this, that, and the other, but just and it don't even have to be that large, but just turn what have you did in the past. Then they want to know why should we grant you, so that's something to be prepared. And I tell people too, they only give you a little bit of time. You can blabber all day long, write it down. I wrote all my stuff down to stay cute and read it off to know what you're looking for, what I did, who I am to what I did, who I am today, why, and that's it, So that was huge. And there was a lot of individuals that, was going through that today, but that's that journey that really just I don't know. That piece of paper is just like I do need to put it in my office and frame it, but I don't want to cheerlead to it because I'm not a cheerleader or a fan of unethical situations, to say, oh, you could do something, get out of it, because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell anybody, do the right thing, in your life. It's just circumstances, things, shit happens.
And you know what? You know what? I did find out though, like pardons and things like that, that's not eligible for misdemeanors.
I think expunges are.
Expunges are?
Yeah.
Are you sure for misdemeanors?
I think pardons are for I don't know.
From what
But I think you can get expunged, misdemeanors expunged, yeah, off your record as well. You can ask for that. And when people do pardons, one thing to keep in mind, whatever is on that background, you want, ask for all of that to be erased. Put that all on there. So it wasn't that hard. But did you feel like our reconnection happened for a reason?
Absolutely.
I said, and I know I'll be saying this all the time. I be messing with you because I had already been, and I've told you this too. I had already been thinking like, I need to organize this. I need to do this. I need to do that. And I'm like, God done put me with the most organized. I ain't gonna call you OCD. You can say that, but I'm not the most organized, on the dot, on the point type person. Like when I tell you that, to the average person, it could probably be intimidating, but to me, I definitely took it for what it's worth. Because one thing I like to do is in certain environments or like people that I meet or situations, I'm kind of like, okay, God, what you need me to do in in this situation. Like, what am I supposed to get out of this, or what am I supposed to be giving in this situation? So, definitely, I definitely think that it was divine. I definitely think it was divine, all the way down to the similarities, all the way down to what I know that he was already pushing me towards, anyway,
Right.
and to put me right next to somebody, that's doing those things that I was aspiring to do, at that time. I know it was divine because I know what I crave for.
Exactly.
I'm confident in that.
And that's why I say don't be around me for free.
Yeah. And
My favorite line.
Like your favorite line.
Favorite line.
And I get it. I can understand that.
You can understand that exactly. What made you contact me after the women's conference?
For one, our similarities that definitely made me connect. And just because, it was cool. We was friends back then. So I'm like, yeah, let me see what she up to. You know what I'm saying? And then we both in Arizona. So I wanted to do that anyway. I wanted, to connect with somebody that I was familiar with.
Right.
Because everything was new here. I was meeting people, going in Facebook groups. Like I never did that in Wisconsin. But
I still ain't did that like
but just in my community, not like the whole Arizona,
right? Just where you at?
Okay. Yeah, where I'm at, because just because of my kids. So I would look in there looking for different resources or different things going on in the community and things like that. So
And I was meeting people and things, but there's nothing like being around somebody too that you are, kind of familiar with. So,
Right.
yeah.
And that was dope, cool, just hearing, I wouldn't have never, considered your story, your testimony at all, but it was like a delight to be able to share my story and those experiences with an individual to, I think, help pull you up and
Absolutely.
pull you out your shell. Because
Absolutely.
I know I've been pulling you out your shell.
Absolutely.
And it's been good. It's been
Absolutely.
looking real good on you. You've been
Look,
glowing.
right now.
Yeah, you've
You
been
know,
glowing on a
I
whole
love it.
different level, and I'm a pusher,
I love it.
and I love people just like I be like, we can do this.
I love
We gonna figure it out. We gonna
Really?
you don't know today. We gonna find out tomorrow.
Listen.
It's stuff I don't know. I'm like, go find out, Deshunna. Let me know tomorrow.
Listen. And I'll be honest here. I get my you give me my, I get my list and things like that to go. And sometimes I just look on her, I be like, she want me to do what? But I wouldn't even come to you and say, oh, I don't know how to do that. Just being around you, moving and grooving, I'm gonna figure out how to move and groove through this. We may not know how to make this Excel spreadsheet or this or whatever, but we're gonna figure it out. And that just kind of made me believe in myself. That it kind of gave me I just always say, I believe in my ability to figure it out. And that's something that I speak to myself. I believe in my ability to
That
figure it out.
manifestation and
Yeah.
that faith.
Yeah.
You do that very well. You do that very well. So I like it. I love it. I don't say I like it. I love it because I love to see people growth stories and from, where they started and where they going and how they, getting back into them they selves and they body, getting out your body.
Yes.
Especially when we over 40, girl. You better get out that body. We can't be real. We gotta
No,
how to
for real.
stuff. We gotta get up, make sure we got our little groove back at these ages.
Absolutely.
What can you say to someone who feels afraid to start over?
I would say to them that starting over is not always bad. It's like a fresh start.
It's a new beginning.
It's a new beginning. It's a fresh start. One thing that I realized is that, Deshunna, you don't have to be. If I want to change today, I can be completely different
Right.
than what I was yesterday.
Start a whole new day.
You can start a whole new day. So I had to realize that starting over is not bad. I take it now as God's love for me.
Mhm.
That's how I look at it. Because most people go through life doing the same thing. And I would have, because I am kind of like, I'm not speak that. I was like a creature of habit. I would do things the same way. I wanted my skip everything to be, like this.
Right.
If anything was off, I was out of whack.
Ooh, you was one of them.
Yeah. Anything
Oh
I was completely out of whack. So it definitely taught me something about myself. But starting over
When it was like repetitive with everything.
with
like,
everything.
I gotta go A, B, C.
Yes.
If D come too soon, it's gonna like throw my whole day off.
And that's exactly it. And I see now that it's so many people that go through life without the awareness of it being more, or you can do more, or you can be more. So I embrace the change now.
Right.
I'm learning to
Starting new and
embrace it.
process.
Yeah.
And starting today and now, you done gained so much experience and knowledge from the past to know you know right from wrong, you know how to move, you know how to pivot differently. So starting fresh is like you gotta use that brain and just don't panic and figure it out.
That's it, the pivot. Because what it also brought out of me, that situation brought out of me too, is, I was always an employee. So you know that this is coming, this is coming,
Right.
with just everything is repetitive. Well, with that situation, I had to get real creative. I had to get real creative. I mean, I had a whole boutique going at the house. I had this going, I had that going. I'm making this, and I was doing all of those things.
You had to think totally different now because of your situation. Like my situation not the same, so my mindset can be the same. Right now, I gotta adjust for a minute. Absolutely. What advice could you give to women that's rebuilding, or rebuilding their lives?
Be gentle with yourself. Yeah, be gentle with yourself. That's so important. I was my biggest critic. I was always just my biggest critic. What I realize now, and what I will tell anybody else, is that, yeah, you may not hit it right the first time, Yeah, it might be a little bit scary, but God says we are more than a conqueror. You know what I mean? So you can do it.
Right.
You ain't gonna break. You can do it. So I would just say, just don't be scared. Just go full force. Just go for just do it. You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I done been through the worst already. So
What does moving and grooving mean to you personally?
moving and grooving means to me is that you don't stop moving just because something happens. You pivot. It may not today may not be 1 2 3.
Right.
You know, it might be 1 2. We might jump to here. We you pivot just because one thing happens. One thing I always say, well, we just gonna move forward.
You got to move
You
forward.
gotta
That's
move forward.
exactly.
That's moving and grooving to
That's
me.
the answer right there. Is
Yeah.
you're gonna move and groove through whatever difficulties, challenges, the journey, whatever it's taking you through. I don't care. The worst part I can go back to, man. I had postpartum with one of my children, and just in the car, just crying. But I almost just cussed, but it didn't matter. I had a lot of stuff to do, but at the end of the day, I had that ugly Michael Jordan face. I'm crying, but I'm still going. Okay, let me drop them off at daycare. I'm in that hard winter in Wisconsin. Let me do this, and just knowing that regardless of whatever's happening, we still got to get it done at the end of the day. So I'm gonna keep moving and grooving through whatever circumstances, whatever the case may be, and that's what it's just always been for this tagline, moving and grooving. Like, why you moving? Come on, y'all, we gotta move and groove. We gotta move
And I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing. I had to find other methods because it's like I knew that I couldn't just stop. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I paused. I slowed down, but I didn't stop. You know what I mean? That's what I mean when I say be gentle with yourself when you're in a new season.
Right.
You pause, you may slow down, but you don't stop. You know? So that's one thing God learned.
You didn't stop.
I did
You
not.
kept going. You didn't even leave the state, through your challenges. Sometimes people be like, I gotta go back home. Where it's safe at. You get what I'm saying? People want to feel safe. They gotta go back to where they felt like it was safe. So that's right there. That's dope. And that's because that's survival. Because you stood in a whole different, and this is different. The
So
financial difference. You know
So
what I'm
different.
saying? So you made it through. So God
Absolutely.
bless your journey, your story. So
Yes.
I really do thank you so much for joining me today, sharing your testimony. I know, sometimes you put people on the spot and they're like, hey, I gotta share my business. But at the end of the day, I appreciate that. I thank you for sharing your story because at the end of the day, your story just inspires someone else. It helps somebody. So it may not help the 100 people, but if it reached at least one individual, it did the job for today. You see what I'm saying? And so I really appreciate you coming on to the Moving and Grooving show, girl. And of course, you got to be back. You already with me almost 24/7. So, y'all are going to be seeing Deshunna on a lot of the episodes. Because guess what, y'all? She going to be helping me co-host. She don't even know that part yet. She going to be on helping me co-host. I ain't going to be up here talking by myself if I don't have no guests. But at the end of the day, you guys, like we always say, we represent growth, alignment, a new movement. We resetting, restarting, and we just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep moving and grooving all life long. Deshunna, share with everybody how to connect with you on your socials and also with your direct sales, your what you're doing. Give them that information, y'all, and y'all better support.
Okay, you can find me on Facebook as Deshunna Franklin. That's DESHUNNA on Facebook. Same thing on Instagram. You can follow me on there. You can connect, see my journey. Anything you looking for in health, wellness, self-care, trying to get back to yourself, I got you.
She do, y'all. She got this teeth whitener. My teeth was already white, but at the end of the day, it's keeping it bright and white. You know what I'm saying? And all the extra little perks and things that you dive to. So definitely, you guys hit my girl up. And as always, you guys, you know how to find me on Facebook, Nicosia King, on IG, Nikki MNG, on YouTube, Nikki MNG. You guys go to my page, subscribe. It's going down, y'all, every day, all week long. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna see y'all next episode. Peace.